Hello everyone, I'm back with another video. I'm here to talk a little bit about the combo I talked about in my deck profile, about the one card combo using only the field spell, because someone in the comments asked for it. And I also just wanted to talk a little bit more about the Nationals experience as a whole. And I'm also gonna plan to show you guys a little bit of what's inside the box that I got for topping the event. So let's start with the combo line. We are assuming we only have the field spell and nothing else. We're gonna start by activating the field spell, and we're gonna add LZ. Then we're gonna activate LZ, send the field spell, summon LZ, and add Sylvie. Then we're going to normal summon Sylvie. We're going to activate Sylvie. We're going to add Tails. Then we're going to synchro off these two for Arciela. Then we're going to activate her effect, send the Tails to search. Going to add LZ Azamina, use Tails in the graveyard to set itself, immediately use Tails to search Diabelze the White Witch. Then we're going to activate Azamina LZ in our hand to summon her, go into a Synchro 8, into the Queen. Then we're going to use the Azamina LZ in graveyard as Chainlink 1 to chain block it, and as Chainlink 2 we're going to use Queen to add back Tails. We are going to add Wanted here of the Azamina LZ. A lot of the combo lines usually go for Deception first, but you can't go for Deception first in this line because you can't actually summon off Deception this turn because we are already locked out of Darks. So at this point, we're going to use the graveyard effect of Sylvie, shuffle back and summon Sylvie from our graveyard. Then we're going to use these two to go into Fiendsmith combo, go into Moon, go into Requiem, summon Lacrima, Lacrima effect, send Engraver. Then we're going to activate Wanted to search for Black Witch. We're going to activate Requiem to equip to Lacrima. Then we're going to special Black Witch by sending Requiem. Going to activate Black Witch to set Deception. Then we're going to use these two to go into Sequence. Then we're going to use Sequence to fusion summon. You can recycle Moon and LZ Azamina here, because this is an illusion and this is a fiend. That will summon Baphomet. Baphomet can send anything here. Like, you could just send another copy of Engraver. I'm gonna pretend I'm sending another copy of Engraver here. Then we're gonna use the graveyard effect of Engraver to shuffle back the Engraver that we just sent to summon him. This is the last spot where they can nib us. Obviously, if they nib us here, it is good for them. Like, our one card combo does something through nib, but it's not perfect. If they don't have nib, or they don't respect the Caesar, you make Caesar here. Then you're going to activate Deception after summoning Caesar, and you're gonna tribute the sequence for Caesar. You're gonna tribute the sequence for Deception to add Datos. You have to play this card if you want to be able to summon the Omni Negate on the opponent's turn. Obviously that step is optional, but I'm pretty convinced that it is optimal. Notably, we have Queen in graveyard here, which is kind of a bummer, but I don't really see a way to do it safely without using Queen. Then at this point, you can use Diabelze in hand, send the face-up Deception to summon. Use her to send Curse, which adds Phileas. Then you activate Phileas to add Vengeance. And then you summon Vengeance by banishing these two. This is almost the entire end board. Now you just set the Datos, and then in the end phase you don't forget to set back Deception. And then you pass turn with a Tails in hand for follow-up, which is amazing. On the opponent's turn, you have the option to use Caesar twice to negate 2 effects or cards that will special summon. As soon as your opponent is in the main phase, you have the option to use Datos to fuse away the face down Deception to summon Ilia Sylvia. Or you could use Vengeance first, summon Arciela to add a Veiler and sending the tails, or you could summon Silvera to book their field, and then after you've done that, you could use Datos to fuse away the Vengeance if you want to keep the Deception for follow-up. But it is probably safer to make the Ilia Sylvia as early as possible to have an out for powerful cards like Triple Tactics Talent. And I don't think it is that big of a deal if the Deception ends in the graveyard, because we have a wanted draw of it as well. So after we've used the 2 negates of Caesar and the Ilia Sylvia, and we've used Vengeance to summon to pop and to summon from the extra deck, we also have the option to use Lacrima and Requiem at any point to shuffle Lacrima, summon Requiem, Requiem summon Lacrima, Lacrima send the trap card, and then we have Paradise effect in graveyard as well, which in total comes down to 6 interrupts, and you hope that that is enough. And for follow-up, you have an Engraver, you maybe have the Lacrima on board, you do have a wanted draw, you do have a Synchro Monster to shuffle back for Sylvie, even if this does not summon a Silvera or Arciela. You also have the graveyard effect of Datos to banish to summon back the Omni Negate on your own turn as your first action. And you get LZ back if you summon off Vengeance. So yeah, that's the combo line I was talking about. So now I want to talk a little bit about Austria Nationals, like the event as a whole. For me, it's an event I really like going to. Last year I went there just to play side events, even though I played the bigger Nationals, the German one, later in the year. The main reason I like going there is because it's pretty close to where I live. I didn't even book any kind of accommodation this year to go there. Which means I woke up on Saturday and Sunday at like 5:30 in the morning to take public transport to get to Salzburg. I'm happy that some of my friends also went, that I didn't have to sit in the train on my own the entire weekend. But considering I did 4 trips, I was sitting in the regional train for like 9 hours. Didn't help that a woman, I think she actually died on the train when we were on our way home on Saturday, which is tragic. And it also cost us like an hour in time because for some reason medical support took forever to arrive. I hope she's fine, but I really do think that she might have died on the train. So yeah, it's just like having to get up really early for that event, having to travel between my home and between the venue takes a lot of time. A lot of time for reflection in the train, I suppose. And yeah, maybe it's a little bit ironic coming from me, but I wanted to save some money on accommodation and travel. So I took the cheapest option, basically, which is free because of the Deutschland ticket. For anyone who's aware, it does function all the way to Salzburg. About the deck itself, I played Azamina White Forest Fiendsmith because that is like my pet deck that I've been labbing. I feel like I'm really comfortable on that strategy, but I don't think it is much better than a tier 2 strategy. Like Mitsurugi and Malice are just a lot better in terms of power level. They're just better decks, I think. As sad as that is. I really think that White Forest is a little bit like branded in a way. It has a very big engine. It gets to push through boards relatively well. It's like you can tell that your opponents are scared when they've used their last disruption and you just keep comboing because you have extender after extender. And I feel like when you're playing that deck and both players get to actually play the game, then you're having a lot of fun because there's a lot of small interactions that you have with your opponent, and it's not like, I don't know, Mermaid for example, where you hand loop or pass on a barrier statue, even though the boards that this deck produces are really, really strong, I would say. Um, yeah, I tend to write down on the life points tracking papers that I use what decks I'm up against and if I want a dice roll. And so I figured let's go a little bit into the matchups that I had over the weekend. My first two rounds were against Memento. I beat both of them 2-0. I won one of those dice rolls and lost the other. I do think I had Fuva like twice out of those 4 games, but I feel like this deck kind of plays decently well into the Memento board. None of their interrupts are like negates. The only thing that's like really problematic, I feel, is the steal. But I had a cute interaction in one of those matches where my opponent stole one of my Diabell monsters, but Vengeance still gets to destroy and summon if there is a second Diabell monster on the field. You don't have to control both of them, which makes me wonder how funny the mirror match is if I ever play one. It hasn't happened yet to me, at least. Then my third round I was against Malice, where I won the dice roll and I got a bit lucky because after my opponent scooped game 1 because they couldn't break my combo board and they tried to hide what they were playing, they just bricked the second game. They set 1 card, passed. My hand wasn't very good either, but after I made a little bit of a combo and hit them, I had Lancia for their next turn and then they just folded and couldn't do anything. My fourth round was against Mitsurugi Fiendsmith. I played against Niklas, a friend of mine from locals who ended up getting second place at the event. I really don't think that Mitsu in itself is that bad of a matchup for this deck. You can play into their board a little bit, and the main reason I lost that match was because he had Fuvalos and Ash Blossom in the first game, preventing me from setting up any interruptions, and then he OTK'd me. And game 2 he had Droll plus Imperm and combo as well, so he just OTK'd me again. It's tough when your opponent has a Floodgate hand trap, a hand trap to stop what little bit you can do into that, and then also opens combo and you don't have a non-engine. I feel like I got a little bit unfortunate in that matchup. But what can you do, right? I'm happy that he got second place. Like, I'm really happy for him. I just wish I had gotten to play like a proper match against him. Then in round 5, I did not write down what deck I was up against. I just wrote down that I lost the dice roll and Vengeance carried that match pretty hard. Round 6, I lost the dice roll against Mitsu Fiendsmith. I drolled him and managed to break his board with Engine. And in the second game, LZ Pitch Black Goat Loves was basically game, declaring Amno so they couldn't board wipe you. Just is so incredible. Then the last round of day 1 was against Malice, where I was lucky to win the dice roll again. I full comboed and they scooped before committing to the board. So I didn't know what I had to side for game 2, and I only drew one Ash Blossom, which I used on the effect of White Binder in the banished zone, but it wasn't enough. He just kept comboing and I couldn't break that board with just Engine. And then game 3, we were getting kind of close to time, but I had to Vengeance pop in the battle phase. But my opponent didn't have really any plays. Like he threw a Fuvalos, but I managed to set up like 4 interrupts with Vengeance, giving him only a single draw. Which is like one of the main reasons why I like this deck. Where if your hand is like decent, you can set up a lot even through a Fuvalos. And I also had Artifact Sanctum hard drawn in that last game, so I wasn't really scared of what Malice could do. Then, after the 7th round, I took the train back home. And I didn't really sleep that well on a night from Saturday to Sunday. But the bus I usually take to my train station doesn't even drive that early on Sunday, so I had to walk to the train station instead. Had to get up even earlier than Saturday. And I was really tired on the second day. I probably should have just decided to not do anything Saturday night. Like, I probably shouldn't have watched a feature match or 2 of the YCS happening. But yeah, I at least I got to the event on time. I didn't oversleep or anything. Round 8, I don't have any notes. I just know that I played against Ryziel. If I had to guess, it was probably LZ and Black Goat Laughs again, but I genuinely don't remember all that well. And in round number 9, I played against Mitsu Ryziel, where I won the dice roll, but I got stopped with a droll on my first search. But I was fine. I thought I was fine, because I had 2 Mulchamis. But they just didn't really do much. I just got OTK'd. And in the second game, I made a bunch of misplays. I blundered really hard. I made like 4 really big errors in that match. Which, yeah, they were on my mind. They bummed me out while I was sitting waiting for my feature match to start. And I think it was bad karma. Like, I got lucky that I still topped with 7-2 after blundering my round 9 really badly. And I think because of bad karma, I drew like I did on the feature match. I got punished. So I'm not really sad. I feel like it was deserved to end in top 16 because of how I played in round 9. And I'm just gonna try to do better next time. But as an overall takeaway from the event, I'm really happy with the deck. I think the list that I built is fairly good. It should have just respected Mitsu a bit more, which in retrospect was probably as good or even better than Malice. So I would probably remove some of the Malice hate in my sideboard, like the Chaos Hunters for Ghost Bell or Bestials. Those seem at first glance to be like the best options you have to have cards that are good into Mitsu. And the Chaos Hunters are probably just overkill, especially if they play Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus. Doesn't really accomplish anything anyway. Um, I mean, I pulled two nice secret rares. I think they're not terrible. A bummer that they are German, but you don't get to pick. I didn't think you could pull two of the same ultra rare, but apparently you can. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed me yapping about for a little bit. And if you have any questions, just put them down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.